By popular demand, in today's video, I'm going to show you exactly how I calculate cash flow using my deal analyzer workbook on just about any business for sale out there. I'm going to give you a specific example, and I'm going to show you how much cash flow is there after you buy the business. And in one deal alone could replace your entire day job income. Let's get to it. Everybody, welcome to my channel. I am your host, Leo Landaverde, business broker and commercial lender, helping you buy and scale a profitable business. If you are a small business owner looking to scale your business by buying another profitable business, or if you're a W-2 employee trapped in the rat race wanting to get out by purchasing a profitable business, you are in the right place. Please subscribe to my channel. Don't forget to hit the bell, and you'll be notified every Thursday when a new video comes out.
Just about every week I get emails from viewers just like you ask me to analyze deals, and I get emails several times a week ask me to analyze deals. So I wanted to do it again, and this one is actually from Biz Buy Sell, and the whole objective of this video is actually how to teach you how to analyze deals by yourself, because regardless, everything is in perspective. It doesn't really matter what the asking price or the cash flow is. Would it work for you? Would it cash flow if you need to get some debt? Whether it's seller carry or a SBA loan, you're gonna have to finance the deal. If the deal doesn't make sense after you get some debt financing, then basically you're wasting your time. So I'm gonna analyze this deal that I've already run the numbers, but I wanna teach you guys how to go about doing this. This is straight out of Biz Buy Sell, and this video is actually this listing is actually This is a live listing. It's actually for sale. You can actually, Thomas Peter is the actual broker. We are recording this video February 28th, 2023, and this is a live deal. So if you want to go for it, that's fine. I'll tell you what I like about it, and then we're gonna look at the numbers side by side, and so you can make an educated decision. So with that said, boat rental company, business for 40 years. So here are some of the numbers. The one, $820,000. That's the asking price, with a cash flow of $320,000. Now, cash flow is such a ambiguous area. What we don't know right now is whether the cash flow is seller discretionary earnings, or is it EBITDA, or is it just net income, or is it EBIT, earnings before interest and tax. We don't know that, but let's assume that would be the owner's own cash flow. So let's assume it's SDE, for seller discretionary earnings. So here's what I like about it. Very healthy cash flow, at least on paper. Is basically the cash flow is almost like 30 cents for every dollar of revenue. Revenue of 1 million and cash flow. This is a well-run business. Here's one thing I like about it. It's in business since 1984. So 40 years in business, which is what it says here. So I like businesses that have been around for a long time. They already worked out all the kinks of any startup, and they've been able to build loyalty and goodwill over a long period of time. And basically what you're taking it off in owner's hands for, we're gonna find out why. So let's read on. I do like the fact that it's up to 70% owner finance. Now, when an owner is willing to finance, could be really, really good or really, really bad. And it's really, really bad if they cannot justify their cash flow via tax return. So you cannot get an SBA loan. So then you start doubting whether the numbers are real. So I say that look at the seller financing with a magnifying glass and be very cautious of it. But at least on paper, I like it if it makes sense. Okay, and I'm gonna show you why. This deal, it says it's a fantastic opportunity for a buyer to acquire a recognized boat rental and tour business in Citrus County. So this is Florida. 40 years, profitable, clearly. Airboat, dolphin watching, and manatee swimming. Tour business enjoys. So this is a tour business, okay? So I'm just trying to figure out which category we're going to put it up when we do the evaluation. So it's boat rental and tour. Okay, so not all the NAICS, the codes or the SIC codes show up in the valuation. So we got to figure out which one we're going to peg ourselves to. There is some real estate involved, but it is not for sale. It is not part of this deal. It's a 2-acre commercial property for sale or lease. Now, if it was to be leased, that'll be an agreement. It would be a lease agreement that the buyer would have with the seller. The seller gets to keep the real estate portion, and you get to lease it back to them in a 5-year lease agreement or such. If the seller is willing to sell it to you, that will be a separate transaction, different transaction from the business. So it will be two different deals closing concurrently, and that's a play if you want to. I know some people are always interested in and almost always looking at deals and buying the real estate. I don't think that should be your only. If the business makes sense on its own, and what happens when you grow, you may outgrow the real estate. So not you buying the real estate is not always a good thing. So anyway, so there's some property, there's real estate involved. I like the fact that there is a self-sufficient management team. Spells out absentee ownership or semi-absentee owners. Anytime that you have a management team in place means less work for you, for the owner. You're truly buying a business. You're not buying yourself a job. So that, as I talk about in my videos often. Okay, so the facilities is a 2-acre with 3 buildings. Now, although the real estate portion it's a separate deal, what would be for sale we're going to have to look at the assets, which doesn't, a listing, a business listing in Biz Buy Sell or any of the business websites, not necessarily going to tell you what all the assets that are involved. I'm assuming I'm going in thinking I'm going to do an asset purchase, not a stock purchase, regardless of whatever legal entity they have. It's going to be an asset purchase. So we're going to purchase the assets. We're going to cherry pick the assets of the business along with the goodwill. And we're going to figure out how much that's worth to us, but it's only worth to us if it's generating enough cash flow. You need the assets to generate the cash flow. Okay, so far so good. So let's go ahead and put this side by side here. And what you're looking at here is my deal analyzer. I have a buy-side deal analyzer that I have perfected over a period of time. I've been working on this type of situation for years, analyzing deals, and I started coming up with my own assets. This is my intellectual property. So what we've done here is we're putting the numbers side by side. So 820,000 is the asking price. This is coming from the seller side. This is going to be our side, and we're going to compare them side by side. 820,000 on $1,010,000 in revenue, and we have the straight from the listing $320,000 worth of cash flow. But it tells me right away this is a 2.56 multiple of SDE. Now, from me, from all my videos, that it's all businesses, I would say 90+% of businesses sell for a multiple or either SDE or EBITDA. If it is a business less than $500,000 worth of cash flow, it would be SDE. In this case, I like what I see. I like 2.56. Let's move on. This is what the deal is as per the seller. They're saying that they're willing to finance up to 70% of the deal, or $574,000 on $820,000, which means that you would have to come up with 30% down or $246,000. Now, if you have that cash flow and you get the seller to carry it, then you don't need an SBA loan, and that may be good. It really depends, right? We don't know enough. This is the annual debt service. What I've done is I usually calculate right away. I make some assumptions. Now, this is if I would want the interest rate to be no more than 7% over a 10-year amortization, but the amortization may be less. If the amortization is 60 months, which is 5 years, it's going to change our numbers drastically. Now, what I like about the SBA when they're funding deals is that they actually have a 10-year amortization, which means it lowers your interest and principal payments over a longer period of time, which helps you with cash flow. And this is all about post-closing cash flow and liquidity for you. So, but, this mirrors the SBA. So, of course, at 10 years to pay a 7% interest rate, your payments will be $79,000 a year, principal and interest to the owner, which means you have a debt service coverage ratio of 4-to-1. That is fantastic. That is amazing. I doubt that it's going to be that, because no seller is going to want to carry a deal for 10 years. It's most likely going to be 60 months. Okay. And if it is 60 months, we want to try to see if we can get it at 5%, which means it's going to, so everything is negotiable. So even the note for the seller would be part of the deal that you would have to negotiate. And you can build in some contingencies, some clawback provisions if something doesn't perform. What I like about seller carry deals is that you have a little control if the business does not perform, and the seller has to be very confident in their business to back up a seller note. So all things considered, right? Now, there is something else here. So beauty is in the eye of the beholder. Of course, we go to the market and try to figure out what the other businesses like it are selling for. In this particular case, we want to know, hey, so what I'm going to show you guys here is,
you stuck and trying to figure out how to actually buy a business? Let me help you. I do this every week and I love to help buyers acquire their first business. All you have to do is drop me a comment below or send me an email. My email address will be in the description section of this video. Let's work together.
Operators, okay, which is what they are, right? They're a tour company. This gives you the size of the industry, the NAICS code, the SIC code, the number of businesses out there, the annualized revenue of the aggregate of all those businesses in the marketplace. What I want to see is the rules of thumb. Well, how much are these businesses are selling for? 2 times SDE for smaller companies, 2 to 4 times SDE for, I would imagine, bigger companies, 3 to 5 times EBITDA or 3 times EBIT. This is a business that is under 1 million in net sales, which is the valuation median value. It says 2.41 multiple of SDE and 2.57 multiples of EBITDA. Okay, that's pretty good. All right, so let's be back. So that's how we got to these numbers right here. So 2.41, 2.57. And you know what? If I'm representing the buyer, I want to be aggressive to see if we can even get a bigger deal. This is already a pretty good deal as it is, but what if we offer 2.35%? That means that our offer would be a 752. Let me tell you what happens when, let me show you what happens when we actually change our offer multiple based on the multiple of SDE. Say we wanted to go 3 times. We really wanted it because it's a really good business and we know there's going to be competition. If we wanted to offer 3 times cash flow, you notice what happens to our price? Our offer would go to 960,000. Why would you want to pay more than what the asking price is? That's between the buyer and the seller. And beauty is in the eyes of the beholder. It really is the buyer who sets the price. We look at the comparable sales to give us a yardstick, a measuring line. But as I had said, I would want to always offer a little less. See, because it all comes down to cash flow. So back to the 752,000. These numbers carry over from the other side. Our cash flow stays the same. This is the original deal. We will get it at 2.35. Now, here's where things get a little more interesting. Now, say you don't have $246,000 worth of down payment and you want to have a loan. You want to have an SBA loan that will amortize over 10 years. Well, in that case, your cash out of pocket would go to 10%. So instead of putting $246,000 down, you would put $75,000. Now, see and this matters when you look at your cash on cash return, which is, this is a traditional real estate investing KPI, key performance indicator. So in the original scenario, your cash on cash return is 77%. Not bad. That's 246 on the 820,000. But look at what happens as you put less money down. You have higher leverage, and your cash on cash return on the same is $225,000 per year of cash flow on $75,000 down payment. That's incredible. That's phenomenal. Your cap rate is 42%. Now, for those of you who are coming from the real estate world and fixing, flipping, and buying a single family residences or even multi-unit, multi-family, where you'll be lucky to get 6% cap rate, you're looking at 42. Owning a business beats owning real estate for cash flow 10 times out of 1. So, all right, let's keep going. I'm trying to be talk as fast as I can so you can keep up. All right, so here's what happens. You have your down payment of $72,000, and by default, this blue line is really where I want anybody. Everything else is built-in formulas. So everything, all you have to do is punch in the light blue cells, and everything else is spit out. Now, those buyers who work with me one-on-one, they get to use this. Now, for you guys, I would have a modified version. Now, if you want to work with me and get to see the real deal, absolutely reach out to me, because this is something that I've been working on for a long time. So I'm very careful as to who I share it with. But does it work? Absolutely. So you have here 90% SBA loan. Now here's some of the, oh, by the way, there are other things that I haven't shown you in this. This is just the deal analysis portion. There is a use of proceeds, which, goes, there's a lot more formulas here. There is the operating concern when you do analysis on the actual deal, the eligible passive income for those owners who own real estate and they're paying rent to themselves. There is a global, there's a global debt service calculation, which, there's a personal cash flow analysis. There's all kinds of things here. So I don't want to confuse there, and there's other indicators and things that we really don't have time to go over in this supposed to be quick video. But look, let's keep going. So at $75,000 down payment on 10% down on our offer of $752,000, you have a loan for $676,800 or 90% LTV. Our annual debt service. Actually, you know what? This is going to be right here. This is going to be 0. And this is going to be 90%. See? So what happens is this is a bank loan. And what it does, it pulls that information from the other use of proceeds sheet and it brings it to the fore. Now, SBA loans right now are 10.5%. Prime is 7.5%, I think. And then, and usually the prime plus the delta, which is what the lenders live on, could be anywhere from 2.5 to 3 points. So 10.5 is basically a very safe calculation, because if you can make money on that, I'm sure that even if the rate is better than that, then you're doing much better than cash flow. But do not get stuck on the rate. The rate is really irrelevant. What you're looking at is the cash flow on each and every deal. You buy a business when it's the right time to buy a business, regardless of the rate, just like you would buy your dream home whenever you're ready to buy it, regardless of the rate. You buy when you're ready to buy, and you look at a deal by deal basis to see what numbers. So that's exactly what we're trying to do right now. We're looking at the cash flow. Look, annual cash flow after debt service. So we begin with the 320, and we have $109,000 worth of annualized interest and principal payments. Our debt service coverage ratio is more than ample. This is a really, really good deal for the bank. This is a really, really good deal for you. Look at our annualized cash flow, $210,411. Cash on cash return is 280%. Cap rate is 42%. The difference between the two scenarios is $20,000 more. Yeah, about $20,000 more, even at a 10% interest rate with 0 carry. So, and things can get a little more interesting if you want the seller to carry, and there's going to be a moratorium on the seller from the SBA, that the seller is not going to get paid their loan for 2 years to help you with the cash. All those things get more complicated. I want to keep it simple. So, can you imagine buying a business where the annualized cash flow is nearly 21? Well, in this case, what is $210,000 a year divided by 12? Your cash flow is $17,500 per month after you service the debt, after you run your business on a 4-year business. I say this is a great deal, and this is a great opportunity. I would say buy this deal or deals like this. And that is really what I'm all about, helping buyers buy their dream first business and get out of the rat race and become the CEO of your own company. Guys, if you really like this video, please comment. Your comments are very, very helpful, and I'll keep making videos like this. All right. Bye, everybody.
Limited time, I'm giving away my deal analyzer, my cash flow calculator. This is a tool that has been downloaded probably hundreds of times in the last few months by viewers just like you. What it allows you to do is exactly what we did in today's video with all the bells and whistles. It is my gift to you for being my subscriber. The link will be down below. Thank you so much for watching my videos.